All right. Okay, so, no, it only records under here. So this is the part that's getting recorded under here, okay? So nobody's face is on screen, not even mine, only my hands and under here. Okay, so problem 4, remember yesterday we were converting rates, or converting just units, right? Today we're going to convert rates or multiple units. So what we want to do is identify what we have to begin with, and it's not going to be over 1, okay? So, well, sometimes. So it says a student ran the 50-yard dash in 5.8 s. S stands for seconds. At what speed did the student run in miles per hour? Round your answer to the nearest 10. Okay, to do this, we're going to do what we did yesterday, only we're going to do it twice, okay? So we're going to start with what we've got. We've got 50 yards in 5.8 seconds. So that's going to go in a fraction to start us off. Now, it's going to be super important that you put your units because that's going to determine what you're going to do when it comes to crossing them out, okay? So the first thing we want to get rid of is yards. What do we want to change yards to? Miles, okay? We want to change yards to miles. So we're going to multiply like we did yesterday, and we got to get rid of yards and get miles. So you want to look on your conversion chart from yesterday and see if there's any yards to miles conversions in there. Look on there, yards to miles conversions, and I'm going to grab this one so that I can put it on screen here so that people watching could do it. All right, so that would be length, right? So if you take a look, are there any yards to miles on there?
No.
There's not, but there is yards to feet
And feet to miles.
and feet to miles, right? So here's yards to feet and here's miles to feet, right? So let's go here. So let's get rid of yards by putting it on the bottom. And we're going to change yards to what did we just talk about?
Miles.
Feet first, then miles, okay? So we're going to change it to feet. Now, I like to cross these out as I go, all right? So we do that. Okay, how many feet are in a yard according to our chart?
3.
3 feet in 1 yard. Okay, but we don't really want feet either. We want miles, right? Okay, so we got to do this again. So to cancel feet out, it has to go on the bottom, and we need them to be miles on the top. Cancel, cancel. Okay, how many feet are in a mile? 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Okay, so these conversions are going to get kind of long because that's only one of the units. Now we also have to change seconds to what? Hours, okay? Now, you can either do 2 conversions or you can figure it out in your head, right? So here we go. Seconds starts on the bottom, right? So to get rid of it, where does it need to go? Top, all right? So I'm going to put seconds. Does anyone know by figuring it out in their head how many seconds are in a full hour? Nathaniel, how many?
3,600.
Yeah, there we go. 1 hour. Oops. Is 3,600, in case you didn't know, right? 60 times 60. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Okay, so we cancel out seconds. Do we have the units that we were looking for? Yeah, we've got miles. Okay, and for the sake of the video, miles, and we've got hours. That's what we wanted. So we multiply top by top by top by top. So we got to do that right now. In your calculator, we got to do 50 times 3 times 1 times 3,600 and get a new top number. Okay, Evan, what'd you get?
540,000.
Sorry, that chair moving, I couldn't hear.
540,000.
540,000. And remember, our unit on the top is miles here. And then the bottom, 5.8 times 1 times 5,280 times 1 again. All right, and the timesing by 1, most of you realize is going to keep it the same. So you're really only timesing 5.8 and 5,280 here. Emma, what'd you get?
30,624.
30,624. Oops. Okay, and that was in hours. All right, so now you got this big old fraction here. What do you think you do at the, you simplify or divide, okay? It's okay to get a decimal at the end of these because you're doing it per 1. So you want to do top divided by bottom. And what do we get?
17.633228884.
And it says round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to say 17.6 miles per hour is the answer. It's kind of a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. It gets easier as you do more of them. They're not all going to have 2, in there that we have to do. But some of them do. So I have to prepare you for all of them. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And I'm going to keep the video on for a second for at least 1 or 2 of these. You're probably going to want either a lined sheet of paper or a scrap sheet of paper to go with the next part because it says copy and complete each statement. This is on lesson 2-6 practice, okay? Yesterday, you were supposed to do 1 through 12. If you didn't, you want to go back and do that. Today, our focus is to do 16 through 25. All right? And so, I am going to get a sheet of lined paper as well. And we'll do an example, and then I'll turn the video off, and then we can do more examples together. Now, some of these are easier than others. Okay, we'll just start with number 16 since that one is the first one on there, okay? On your piece of paper, it will be easier if you write them right on top of each other. So if you do this, like 16 starts with 25 miles, and then it says hour. How many hours are we assuming if there's not a number? Says 25 miles, and then it just says per 1. Yeah, so we got 1 hour there. Okay, and then we're trying to get M over minute. So minute's easy to figure out. What does M stand for? Meters. MI is mile, just a plain M is meters. Okay, so that's what we're going for is meters per minute. To stay consistent, I like to start with doing whatever your top unit is and getting rid of that first, okay? So if you look at your conversion chart, we need to change from miles to meters. So is there a conversion on here from miles to meters? There's miles to kilometers, right? Is that as close as we get, kind of? All right, so let's do that first. So, on your second fraction, where does the unit miles need to go? On the bottom, because we're trying to cancel it out. Now, we want meters, but we don't have meters, do we? We only have kilometers, so that's going to go on the top. All right, so according to this, how many kilometers are 1 mile?
1.6.
Yeah, we'll round it, okay? So 1.6 kilometers in 1 mile. Do we really want kilometers, though?
No.
Okay, so let's get rid of that. So where does kilometers go? Bottom. What do we want? Meters, okay? How many meters are in a kilometer?
1,000.
Yes. 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Okay. Woo, we got meters is what we wanted. So that part is done. Now we got to do hours. What are we changing hours to?
Minutes.
Minutes. Okay, so On this fraction, where should hours go?
Top.
Top, because it started at the bottom. To cancel it, it goes here. What goes at the bottom? Minutes. Cancel your hours. Good. Now we've got minutes that are left. All right. What's the conversion? 1/60 is right. Okay, here we go. Top times top times top times top. 25 times 1.6 times 1,000 times 1 equals
40,000.
40,000 even. And remember, this is now in meters. And the bottom's easy. 1 times 1 times 1 times 60 is 60, right? Okay, last step.
Divided by 60.
40,000 divided by 60, what do we get?
66.6. I mean, 666.6.
Meters per. Yeah, that number. But if you round to the nearest tenth, it would be 0.7.
That's all
Right.
I'm asking.
Does it say round to the nearest tenth? It doesn't, but you could. You kind of assume round to the nearest tenth if it's not stated. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video. So hopefully, those that were absent can kind of understand this. So give me a second here. Hold on.